Hey everyone, it's 10 Types and Perfect Order is right around the corner, and I'm super excited. We're starting to see some English reveals, and this set is looking really interesting. It is a small set. Also, it is releasing March 27th. That's around a month. Pre-releases are starting in like a couple of weeks, so it is getting pretty close. And of course, Perfect Order is well, okay, it's a small set, but it's going to shake up the meta game a lot, or rather, the metagame's going to be shaked up when this releases because it is releasing alongside rotation. Rotation, if you're not familiar, is something in the standard format, which is essentially the format that like people play. And within the standard, we have the newest few years worth of cards, and so rotation happens once every year, where the oldest years worth of cards essentially leave the format. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section, and any thoughts on that, of course, leave those down below. But ultimately, it's going to be a big change. As I said, this is a smaller set, but it's not a terrible set. I'm comparing it to, let's say, Ascended Heroes or Phantasmal Flames. Phantasmal Flames, I think, is a little bit bigger, and it's like not very good, right? Phantasmal Flames, unfortunately, hasn't really had many good cards. It's had a few all right cards, but not a particularly good set there. Mega Evolution itself had some good cards, definitely, and was a pretty decent set. And then Ascended Heroes had a lot of cards. I guess it did have a lot of good cards, but they're mostly reprints. Tell me in the comment section if you consider this to be a good set or a bad set, and if you like count reprints. Right? If you count reprints, then it's very good. If you don't, it's not very good. But anyways, in terms of new cards, Ascended Heroes and Phantasmal Flames unfortunately haven't been feeding us too good. But with Perfect Order, we're going to be getting some cool new cards. And by the way, Perfect Order is the international expansion. It is and has been out in Japan for a little while with Nullifying Zero, or it's been translated a few different ways in a few different places. It's Nile Zero here on Limitless, and it released in January. So it released, I think, around the same time as Ascended Heroes, alongside Rotation in Japan. So we have seen the format and have seen things evolve, which is really interesting, though not exactly what I'm diving in today, because I'm diving into the expansion Perfect Order. We've seen, as I said, some reveals, including this Lapras EX here, which is a promo. Does 30 free energy attached to it, hits, then goes to the bench. It's like a card. It's not very good. Most of the promos aren't very good. Here are the promos that we got. This is something like Monkey Dory is like an older card. Um, and same thing with like say Air Balloon as well, and something like Detene GX, a much older card here. Ultimately, though, there are some cards that we still haven't gotten that are promos. We got Mega Galadiax, which I'm pretty sure is coming in Perfect Order. It's able to do 200 for one fighting. It's like okay, but not very good here. Then you have Mega Slowbro EX. This one does like moderate damage and does a bunch of damage if it's hit into, which is like cool, I guess. And there's also this really interesting card, Adversity Insurance. I'm not actually sure when this card comes out, so tell me in the comment section when it does, if anyone knows. Again, it is out in Japan, but these cards tend to take a little while. But if the Pokemon this card is attached to, because it is a tool, is in the active and it has weaknesses and is hit essentially for weakness, you draw 3, which is like interesting. I don't know if that's like really good at all, but it is funny there. So want to mention those. But we are getting Lapras EX. I think we're probably getting Hole Digging Shovel, which mills 2 from yourself. This card is not very good, but as I said, most of these cards aren't very good, but there's some fun ones there. But the main bulk of the set is going to be from Nile Zero. I think there's like 8 extra cards or something in this set. But this set, as I said, is really interesting. I'm going through Pokemon Proxies here, which has the cards translated into English. Again, as always, there could be mistranslations within the like attack names, which doesn't really matter, but did want to mention that. And theoretically, there could be like a mistake in what they do, but that's pretty unlikely here. But the set has some super cool cards. The first like archetype, I guess, that I want to talk about is the Scizor EX Villain deck. A villain allows you to, once your turn, have your opponent shuffle their hand, put on the bottom, draw 4. This is okay hand disruption in a format where, again, we're having rotation, we're losing Iono. Iono is by far the best hand disruption card in standard pre-rotation. Nothing else really compares. There's stuff like Judge and stuff that's like a little comparable to Judge. You've got like Harlequin, there's Lucian as well, and there's some Machinations, and then there's also Mega Absolute EX. Mega Absolute EX is like definitely decent post-rotation. Certainly look at tournament results. I mean, it's like okay. The name's still certainly shaping up in Japan, but the villain is not a terrible disruption option. it's okay, and it doesn't use your supporter, right? So you could use this alongside like Boss's Orders or a more powerful draw supporter like Lily's Determination there. And then also this pairs well with the Decidueye EX, which needs your opponent to have exactly 4 cards in hand to attack for just 1 grass as opposed to 4 energy here, which will then do 240 damage and then discard energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. And this is for 4 pretty like bad, right? But for 1 it's pretty good. It's not broken, but it is pretty good here. This is Decidueye EX. Honestly, I have a soft spot for Decidueye. I think it's a cool Pokemon. I think I'm not alone in that thought. But it's just a pretty solid card here. I think it's a fun deck, and obviously with grass, you have the card Forced of Vitality. Yep, and that one lets you go ahead and evolve your grass Pokemon the turn you play them, except turn 1, allowing you to kind of stay in the game better and like work a bit better with some of the clunkiness of stage 2s, which is nice. It doesn't really synergize with the other grass stage 2s currently seeing play the Meganium or the Mega Venusaur EX, but it is still pretty interesting here. And I've heard some talk about Pavilion being like quite good. Some people say that. I don't think it's going to be particularly good. I think this is more of a fun deck, but I do think it is a fun deck. I like hand size stuff. I like messing with attack costs, and I like Decidueye, as I said. And we got Dartrix here as well. This one can do 90 snipe. I believe it can do it for free with the ability. I guess someone would clarify that for me. It probably has to do with the wording of the ability. It says ignore all colors of this Pokemon's attack costs. I don't know if it's attacks it uses or attacks that it has, which are like 2 different things. So we'll end up seeing about that one. I don't think it's a make or break, but it is something that I've heard some people talk about. Then we have some fire stuff here, which is like disruptive. I don't know how good this stuff's going to be. There's this Talonflame, stage 2 obviously, and it has an ability you can use every turn on a coin flip. You can discard a random card from your opponent's hand. This honestly seems super annoying. Not bad at all. I was just talking about hand disruption. Discarding random cards to your opponent's hand. I mean, it's not as good as Mega Absolute EX discarding a card of your choice, but also you're not leaving a 3 prize in the active that costs 3 energy. That also is only discarding 1 card. Talonflame with multiple Talonflames can discard multiple cards, and you can slow the game down more than you would by attacking with Mega Absolute EX. So on a like you're reducing the amount of plays your opponent can be doing, so you're going to be discarding more cards with a single Talonflame than a single Mega Absolute EX throughout the course of the game, presumably there. So this is definitely pretty interesting, allowing you to really mess with your opponent's hand, or maybe it like doesn't do anything. It like hits a bunch of useless cards or just flips a bunch of tails, but it could be really good. There's also Salazzle EX. This is the least disruptive of them, but you can search for 2 cards in stage 1. We see attacks like this all the time, and they can be okay. And then Fatal Nail for 2. You do Poison, Burn, and then hit to the and run to the bench, which is not bad. I mean, it's not great, right? It's not that much damage, but Poison and Burn are nice. Specifically, they are special conditions. They are effects of attack, so there are some ways to counter that. And special conditions, there are also ways to counter specifically special conditions. But then it does knock your opponent out if it knocks them out with the Poison or the Burn between turns. So if they're knocked out between turns, that's not going to trigger specifically Pheasantipede EX. I'm not thinking... try to think if there's other things like that that are meaningful, but Pheasantipede EX is definitely meaningful. I think it's pretty... clearly still the best Pokemon in the game post-rotation, and so being able to get by that is super nice there. It's not super amazing and the amazing walls to run into, but it is not a bad card either. I mean, it's an okay card. It's not a good card, but there's kind of something there, right? And there's Turtonator. Turtonator is also interesting in my opinion. Essentially, once in the active and it's hidden to you, discard energy from your opponent's active. This is decent energy disruption. I mean, it's not absurd, but it's all right. It actually kind of reminds me of the Turtonator currently in Standard from what's this set from? Surging Sparks, and it's for 1 fire. You just couldn't fire from your opponent's active Pokemon EX. This is useful. This is actually played a bunch in Pidgeot Control. I don't know if I'd say it's like a build around a piece within the deck, but it alongside LGM are both pretty nice energy disruption Pokemon, and Turtonator, this other one, is something you could, set up, and you don't need the energy there, and it's going to, go after whatever your opponent hits you with, even if it's not, like, you don't need to track it down on the bench with boss or something. So, it's interesting here. I don't know if it's super good, but it definitely caught my attention here. Also, it could, like, tank hits. Realistically, I mean, it has the same HP as the other Turtonator. Except this turn, it actually has like that tool from Ascended Heroes where I think it takes less damage from like Pokemon that don't see play. But yeah, Turtonator is definitely an interesting card here, in my opinion. It did catch my eye alongside Talonflame. I think are pretty nice disruptive cards here. In turn, it could be played in a deck that's not running Fire Energy as well. Then you have Dugong. Dugong is actually super interesting as well. I think some people are aware of this card, but if you're not, I mean, it's a really cool card, right? It's the same as Armouge in Standard, moving water from your bench to your active as often as you like during your turn. Same thing as the old Quavel, which that's not the right Pokemon. Quagsire. There we go. As I was saying, it didn't sound right, but there's a Quagsire that's the same thing. We've seen cards like this at various points in time, and they're pretty fun, and they're pretty all right. They're not amazing, but they're all right. Also, no idea why. Maybe if I say this and you won't be able to unsee it, or maybe you actually can't see it because of the quality of the video. But like the Dugong's mouth is like red and brown dots on this. It's definitely not one solid color, but this allows you to move energy around. It can do some fun stuff. I don't really think there's that much synergy. Again, tell me in the comment section if there is something I'm missing with any of these cards. Also, while you're down there, make sure you like and subscribe. It really, really helps support me and the channel. So just wanted to mention that. But Washout is definitely a nice little ability here. It was revealed alongside Mega Starmie EX. Mega Starmie EX is probably the I don't know if I'd say the most interesting card from the set, but I mean, this card was popping off when it was like when it came out. It was like the best deck post rotation, and it like came out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden was like obliterating tournaments. It was above Dragapult, I'm pretty sure. And what it does is for 1 water, you do 120, 50 snipe, and then for 3, do 210 hit through any effects or points active, and don't hit weakness or resistance. And yeah, I mean, this allows you to first attack is like moderate spread, and it was paired with Frostlass and Mega Frostlass EX, which is like kind of interesting there. Its stats seem kind of meh, to be honest, like a lot of Megas, but it's relatively efficient, and obviously it's pretty cheap. The second attack's not so cheap, but the first attack really is cheap, and it's definitely interesting here. It's fallen off, right? If you've not been paying attention, it's like fallen off completely. People like aren't really playing this very much. I'm gonna quickly actually look to see how much play it's seeing in tournaments. It's seeing what's today. Okay, it's seeing like some, but it's not at the level that it was previously. As we can see, as we get older, it's just like really crushing tournaments. Like when it first came out, it was just like dominating. Admittedly, people like to play new decks. That could be a big contributing factor. But I mean, this deck was legitimately not like absurdly dominant, but very, very good. And it's completely fallen off, and it's really interesting to see that. So I'm wondering how good this will be. I've heard some people say like, "Wow, this deck's like so good," and some people say like, "Wow, this deck's so bad." So I don't know. I think it's not that good. But I do want it to be kind of good. It's kind of fun. I like it more than Marnie's. Paired with Frostlass, like in terms of subjective, not in terms of how good I think it is. But yeah, I think it's definitely interesting Pokemon that's just capable of doing decent damage for 1 energy. You could, I guess, think of it as like a mini Dragapult. It's doing a little less snipe and a little less control over it, and certainly less active damage, but it is also only 1 on a stage 1, though it does go up 3 prizes. Then we have some fossils. I think they're bad. There's Aurorus, and there's also the Tyrantrum. This one's a little interesting. You're realistically going to be using this to copy the previous evolution, or I mean, you don't have to, but you have this ability where if you have special energy, you have 150 more HP. You can do 160 for 2, but then you can do 20 for each damage count on this Pokemon if you copy the previous evolution as well. Unfortunately, fossils are bad. Just in general, they do have abilities, but they're kind of nothing there. Unfortunately. But the issue with them is they are Pokemon in play, but they aren't Pokemon in your deck, so you can't really search them out. They're like super awkward to use, and they have like no support, which is really unfortunate. But did want to mention those there. Then we've got, let's see. I don't think there's anything super interesting with a Lightning Pokemon. Unfortunately, I really like Lightning. That's why my channel logo is yellow, or that's not exactly why, but it's mostly why. And yeah, Lightning just doesn't have that many interesting cards in for me, to be honest, though. But Mega Clefable EX is interesting. I've gotten a few comments on this card, people thinking that it will be good, and I'm definitely interested in it. Obviously, it is Psychic here, and of course, you can then use Lotus Clefairy EX, allowing you to hit Psychic weakness on Dragon Pokemon, which Dragon Pokemon are very good. Well, Dragapult EX is very good, I should say. It's currently a quarter of the meta in Japan, which is like a lot. And it doesn't really show any signs of stopping. I don't know if it'll continue climbing. I think from last week in Japan, it's went down like a little, but it's very good. I do think it is very, very good. And obviously this is hidden weakness on it, and it has a bunch of HP here, but it's a 3 prize stage 1. And you have this attack shooting moon, which for 2 psychic, that's like a weird attack name as well. But anyways, for 2 psychic, you do 120. You can discard up to 4 energies from your hand. You do 40 more for each energy discarded in this way. This is intended to be paired with the Aromatisse as well. This does. Oh, and I will also mention Mawile has like a similar attack, though it's not super strong. Aromatisse searches for 2 basic psychic energies and put them into your hand. And yeah, this allows you to get extra energies to do extra damage. Unlike Goldengo EX, this isn't as tied to the energies as that card is. It also does cap, so it's not like this big one-shotting Pokemon. It's going to be swinging a max of 280. I suppose you could buff it with something else as well. But this is doing decent damage. It is also weak to metal, which probably is a good thing. Metal type is a type that has, looking at it, losing Goldengo means that you're not going to be worried about that. I don't think our Caledon's super good, and I don't think there's anything else good that's metal. And then you also have, obviously, this ability here as well, which is kind of cool. Print all effects of your opponent's abilities done to this Pokemon. This will be stopping Frostlass, and yeah, I don't know. It seems a little niche, to be honest. Tell me in the comment section again if there is anything like super useful there. I guess there's like some poison stuff, or not really. I was thinking about Pekra and Brutbon it, but Brutbon is rotating, or yeah, Brutbon is rotating. So definitely a little of an ability, but the attack's like all right. It's doing. I mean, it's knocking out Dragapult EX with Lowe's Clefairy EX. I'm not quite sold on it, but it is interesting. It's doing decent damage in general as well. The Aromatisse specifically supporting it. We are losing Superior Energy Retrieval as well, which I figured I'd mention. Then we've got some fighting Pokemon. Specifically, we have Barbaracle here, which I think is super good, allowing you once during a turn to attach a basic fighting from your hand to one of your fighting Pokemon. This set has some decent fighting support. I don't think it's quite as good as Fighting Gong and Premium Power Pro, but alongside those cards with this new fighting support, I think Barbaracle is, by the way, the best new fighting card from this set, though I could see an argument for that not being the case. But obviously, doing energy acceleration is good. We see energy acceleration on stage 1s pretty commonly, allowing you to, go ahead and just get an extra energy or 2, or even realistically not 3, but like an energy or 2 every turn is pretty good, right? I don't know if there's quite the right partner for it, but it is interesting. Then we have, I guess I'll mention, I don't think Mega Lucario is the right partner for it, though. There's Okidogi, but Mega Lucario, you're not setting up that many Mega Lucarios and don't need that much acceleration. And also, I don't think the Tyrantrum is the partner. I think the intended partner is Mega Zygarde EX, where you can do 200 for 3, take 30 less. Unico Zero, which is by the way, the main Pokemon in every Mega, or in like essentially every set in Japan. The main attack of that main Pokemon is the name of the set as well, which is interesting. But anyways, this attack randomly does or does not do 150 to each your opponent's Pokemon. His damage, so it's going to be stopped by the Terror Rule, or also Shaman EX, and it is 5 energy on a 3 prizer, so that seems kind of bad. And then there's this other attack you can use. This is the best of them. It's on a tool here, but you do 350 discardable energy for 4. Like, okay, I guess. I don't think this card's very good. It hasn't really been seeing play, but it is kind of fun. We got Holucha. This one actually is alright as well. If any of your bench Pokemon have any damage counters on them, it does 90 for 1 fighting. This is not that difficult of a condition to beat with like probably Risky Ruins, and then you're also going to be able to just go ahead and do decent damage. 90 for 1 is pretty. I mean, we see Fanrutom, we see Solrock, and yeah, this is doing good damage. Yes, it has less HP than Solrock, but I still think this card is pretty good, and it's got free retreat, so I think it might see some play. Then we got this. What's this Gengar even do? Oh, it just goes to your hand. There's a Veltal EX. This is kind of interesting. Knocking out each of your opponent's Pokemon that has 50 HP or less remaining for 3 on a basic here. It's interesting. A Dark Strike's okay as well. A bit of a weird card, but definitely interesting. This can do instant paralysis on a stage 1 here, but you'd rather see it on the basic. Mega Starmie EX, I guess, is a good metal Pokemon. Specifically with our Caledon EX, it's pretty good. I mean, because it is 3 energy, our Caledon, of course, accelerating 2. You shuffle all energy from this Pokemon into your deck, so it's like a one-time thing. You do then 220, which is actually the same amount as our Caledon EX. But then you don't hit weakness resistance on bench Pokemon, but you do hit bench Pokemon. I don't know why I read the weakness resistance. I read it from bottom to top, and I already knew what the card did as well. But anyways, yeah, you do what 220 snipe. Again, you don't you don't hit through Terras, like you don't hit Terras on the bench, which is like kind of a pain. But you do it for your treat as well. So interesting card here. I think it's all right. Then Doublade. Doublade's honestly a pretty good single prizer. You reveal any amount of Hone Edge, Doublade, and Aegislash from hand. 60 for each card reveal. That's the line there. The Aegislash isn't good, but yeah, this can do pretty good damage, honestly. I like this card quite a bit. It reminds me a lot of the Team Rocket's Honchkrow deck. I think it's um I don't know. I don't know which one's better. And the Team Rocket's Honchkrow deck is not bad at all. For a single prize deck, it's pretty good. So I do think the Doublade is a pretty legitimate deck. Definitely interesting here. Then we have Klefki stopping your opponent from using one of their attacks. You got this goofy little Eradicate doing damage for bench Rattatas. Of course, Rattatas have very low HP. Then we have the big guy here. We got Meowth EX with Last Ditch Catch. I will say the wording, or I guess the name of this card, like kind of matters. Because it might have to do with other abilities, but it lets you search for a supporter when you play out from your hand onto your bench. And also, you can't use more than one ability with Last Ditch the same per turn, so presumably there will be other cards with the same ability, or like not the same ability, but like the same part of the ability to do like some interesting stuff. But I don't know if that's actually something we're gonna see, or maybe it'll be something that is just like lost for time, like Unpheasant EX or something like that. Also, I do want to make a video on those types of cards where Pokemon's just like forgotten to print the other part of it, presumably. So if anyone knows some of those other ones, tell me in the comment section, because I've gotten a few, but I'm missing one, I think. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, this is very, very good. I've talked about it a lot with the post-rotation metagame, so I'm not going to dive into it too much now. But getting a supporter is really nice. And this is relatively searchable. I won't say it's easier to search without Nustball, but then if you're using basic Pokemon search, you can presumably get this card, because this wouldn't trigger off a Nustball, by the way. It's from hand. So definitely a really powerful card, a bit of a liability, but super, super good. We got Energy Swatter, disrupting your opponent's hand for energy, kind of fun. Pokebad is being reprinted in the set, which is super good. Pokebad is like, let me check here. It's probably in like every deck, isn't it? Yeah, it's like quite expensive. It's a common, so yeah, hopefully its price will go. Its price will definitely go down, right? So want to mention that. Then we got a couple of supporters as well. Tarragon recovers fighting Pokemon and energy from your discard to your hand, which is decent. I've again talked about fighting a good amount. I do think Barbaracle is the best of the fighting cards. There's also Rock fighting energy, stopping effects of attacks onto the Pokemon it's attached to. It's fine in my opinion. Not like amazing, but definitely decent there. Then we have some support for some other types. We got Jakinth healing 150 from one of your Psychic Pokemon. A card I haven't talked about too much, but I do think it is okay. Healing in general, I'm pretty low on. I don't know if low on. I mean, I guess I am low on it, but usually it's also bad, so I'm pretty accurate on that. Unfortunately, I wish healing was a little better, but yeah, definitely a card to kind of keep an eye out for. Could be okay, but probably won't be, unfortunately. Then Telepath Psychic Energy. When attached to a Psychic Pokemon, you search for 2 more basic Psychics and put them onto your bench. It's super good, by far the best of the special energies we've seen revealed. We've seen 5. We've seen these 3. Grow Grass is just 20 more HP on a Grass Pokemon, which is okay, I guess. But then Grass is super good because of its like basic energy stuff, so it's actually not very good, I don't think. But then in this Chaos Rising, I think is the set. We've seen the water one, which is not super good, and the metal one, which is a little better, but not super good. So yeah, the Psychic one is like by far the best. Then we have Naveen. This is discard any amount of cards in hand, draw until you have 5 cards in hand. This is objectively better than Carmen beyond turn 1 because you have, control over what you discard. And then you also have Rose's Encouragement. This is another interesting supporter. I guess I kind of glossed over Naveen. I just said what it did, but I do think Naveen is okay as a draw supporter. I mean, we are losing some good draw supporters. Specifically, we're losing Research. So in some sense, this is the replacement for Research, but Research just draws a lot of cards. That's its strength, not the discarding. So it functions pretty differently, in my opinion. Rose's Encouragement only works if you're down. Then you can accelerate 2 basics from your discard, 2 basic energies from your discard to one of your stage 2 Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, this can be really nice, maybe in something like Dragapult. That being said, you need to be behind, which is not too awkward, but is a thing. And you need to be accelerating basics to a stage 2. Again, it's not super awkward, but it's like a little awkward. And it's a support that doesn't really do that much for you. It doesn't search energies out like Crispin, and I'm a little lower on Crispin than other people. Not that Crispin isn't very good. It is a really nice card. But, and speaking of Crispin, you also do still have Crispin. So, like, you need to be realistically using both energies. Like, Dragapult, like, I guess uses both energies, but Crispin gets an energy. Well, it gets two energies, right? The one is your attachment for the turn, if you can use that. So if you um need three energies, the roses can get you there, but it doesn't get you all the way there still, and it doesn't search out the energy. So it's just like it's kind of weird. Not sure exactly where this card is going to live, if it'll live anywhere, but it is a little interesting there. And then we also have Lumio City. Lumio City is kind of cool. Then you search your deck for a basic Pokemon, put it onto your bench as a stadium, but it does end your turn. I don't know if this card's really good at all. I actually have not looked. I have not seen it in any decks, but how do I spell this? Oh, there it is. Oh, I skipped over apparently an item that like heals as well. But yeah, this I don't think has really seen much play. Yeah, it's not seen very much play in Japan. An interesting stadium. I do like it. I'm very excited to play it in Cube, I guess. But ultimately, I think this set has some really interesting things. I mean, most of the cards are interesting, unlike Ascended Heroes, where most of the cards are not interesting. But tell me in the comment section what you're most excited for from this set. As I said, I think it's a super sick set. I pressed tab by accident, but Chaos Rising is coming out after that, which we've seen a few cards from, which looks like cool as well. I'm definitely very excited for the new sets this year. But as I said, tell me in the comment section what your thoughts are, and make sure you like and subscribe. Really helps support me and the channel. But I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.